Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on the ReCreate SMP. It's been many months, and I'm quite sorry about that. As I said in the last episode, there was supposed to be a date show episode, but I kind of really procrastinated editing that, and it's been months, and I haven't even started it. And it's just, I realized it's something that is not something that I'm currently able to do with my current skill set and with my being bothered level. So it's not happening, which is a bit unfortunate, and that wasted months of time that I could have been playing on here. And I do want to say I apologize about the FPS. I don't know why it's really bad right now, but it is. You guys probably know this. The server's entirely dead. Nobody plays, including me. Well, I just came on to play now, and hopefully I will be more frequent, but nobody plays on the server, so shops aren't really worth making apart from just enjoyment. And yeah, Warden's hasn't got a single sale since I logged off, so yeah, fun stuff. But that doesn't mean we don't really have to worry about selling stuff for the time being, if the server will ever revive itself. So yeah, this episode I will be working on for probably like 2 weeks, to be fair, because I want to get as much progress done as I can to kind of, like, of course, there would be a lot more progress if I had played, but the plan is to get a lot of progress done in this video to kind of get myself going so I can start making more projects and more stuff and all that kind of thing. So I don't really know what we're doing this episode. I have nothing planned. I'd say we're going to want to make a wood farm because that is definitely something we need. Along with the wood farm, we might actually just collect leaves because that is something we'd need for the shop if we actually ever open that. Unless that might be an attachment we'll make in the future. I don't know. For now, we're just going to make a wood farm. We need to make an andesite alloy farm because we don't produce any of that. Which means we're going to need to make an andesite farm. That doesn't really count. That was temporary. We're going to need... let's go into here and write this down. Or maybe have a book and quill somewhere I can use. Or a notepad. Or what are they called? A clipboard, not a notepad. Alright, so we're going to want wood farm, andesite alloy, which means we need... Actually, so we want casings, which means we need wood and andesite alloy, which means we need andesite, and we can import stuff from there to make it. We're also gonna need brass, and I'm pretty sure I don't produce that at the farm. That was something I wanted to do when I first was making it, but we're not actually making it. So what other casings do we have? Trim casings aren't really important, so we'll probably just make a copper casing, and we already make copper. That's one thing we want. We're probably gonna want to produce shafts because that's very important. Gearboxes, which we're gonna need to automate logs for, as well as casings, and we already have that making up here. And for cogs we need wood as well, which we're also going to be making for the casings. And that's honestly as much as we really need. Actually, no. I really like using chain drives, so we're going to want to make chain drives too. So I think basically we're going to make a factory that makes every component. This might be a project over multiple episodes, to be fair, because it seems like a pretty big one. Like, if we want to get like every component, at least for now we'll get every main component, and then maybe in the future we'll leave space in this building for every component, but we'll only make some of them. And just looking behind me, we're going to want chutes as well, which we're going to want to automate sheets. And we might as well automate all of them. Because that, and we can automate tanks as well. I decided that I would just look around and figure out where I want to build and stuff. And I think for the stone factory, we're actually going to put it right here. It's going to be like partially on this layer and partially up here. Literally like this building, just here, I guess. Technically, we won't have an entrance from this side, I think. I don't think that would make sense. So it's just going to be a building inside of this rocky terrain here. I think that makes decent sense. It could also be some sort of quarry-ish thing, since it's making stones. I think it kind of makes sense. Unless, okay, I don't know what my map button is. It's been so long. There it is. Unless we make it somewhere else, but I think it's better to just fill up this. It's not going to be big. I looked at the recipes. It's not going to take up my space, and these don't need to be super crazily efficient, because 90% of these are going to be used for just building. The only one we're going to need outside of there would be for andesite alloy. So andesite's the only one that really matters. But yeah, so this is, for now, the stuff that I'd want to make. We won't, of course, make all of these there, because that's just kind of, we don't need all this right now. I'll leave space for them, but we don't need this much. So I think for today, I want to make andesite, tuff, diorite, and granite. I guess I'm going to start time-lapsing this. We're going to try to make a little bit of a building here. And yeah, let's roll the music and let's go. Alright, so I'd say the building is pretty much finished now. I might add some details at some point, like it is a little bland in some places, and of course the boulders don't reach the building and stuff. But for right now, I think it's pretty good. I probably maybe will add more details, but I think it's fine. I've also gone ahead and off camera just worked on the interior a little bit. So we now have space for everything that we're going to put in here, which is automating at least like 4 of these for now, and then we'll do the rest some other time. Now what I actually need to do is start making machines to make this stuff. First we have to make a cobblestone farm, and then we need to make a soul sand farm so that we can use this soul sand in somewhere. We can wash it to get some quartz. We'll just void the gold. We don't really need that. And we're probably only gonna do like a chunk of the quartz or of the soul sand to get washed, because we will leave some for scoria. And then after that we can just set up some crafters to make this stuff, because that should be really easy to do. I'm thinking potentially up here we'll have the cobble gen, and then this can send items around here wherever it needs to go. And we can have maybe in this corner here make soul sand. So let me go ahead and collect some materials, and we'll probably just do a quick setup for a cobble gen. They're not really difficult to make anymore, and they're not that laggy either, so let's go ahead and make some. Hello. It has been way too long. I started recording this video almost 2 months ago, something like that. It actually could have been 2 months ago at this point. Some stuff just happened. Basically, the Cobblemon series showed up, so I was playing on that for a long time. Then I switched PC. Then when I tried coming back, well, the server kept crashing every time I tried to join. But thanks to Legend Cheese Bobby, or Bobby, I don't even know how to say it. He somehow managed to make it through the entire server and just fix it up. It turns out my base was probably one of the least laggiest, and that is because I've literally gone through and I've disabled all my farms when they don't need to be running, which just makes sense. There's no point of them being on if they're full of stuff. He's gone ahead and just disabled like a lot of people's stuff. The server's dead. Nobody's been playing for months. I think me and Cheese are probably gonna be one of the only people actually playing on the server still, which is unfortunate. Everyone else has just pretty much quit and doesn't bother playing anymore, which sucks, but it's fine. I'm gonna keep uploading on here because I've enjoyed it, and I want to continue on with my base and stuff and the lore that I started and haven't really touched on after the first episode. But yeah, I just want to do a quick update on everything that has been going on. And I will still be uploading here, like I said. I don't know for how long, up until I think this base is pretty much finished or the server just goes down. I don't know which will come first. But yeah, the fact that people aren't on does kind of remove some of my plans. Some of you might remember the date show. I might have talked about this actually at the intro of this video. That's not happening. I'm not gonna be editing that because I've never edited something so big. Like I have like 3 hours from 8 people. It's not happening. But I did make over there at Spawn. I did make a sort of like coffee shop for it, which I was planning to use as an actual shop after the event. And I was gonna make a whole like brewery factory to make builder's tea and stuff, because that's, I think, pretty useful. Like, I mean, all of my shops, well, I have one shop, I think. Yeah, I only have one shop, and it's not really produced much income, especially since nobody's playing, so we're gonna forget about the shops, unless the server gets revived. But yeah, we're just gonna continue on with the base, collect a lot of materials, pretty much be in a single player world for the most part, unless people decide to just start joining back. But yeah, that probably won't happen. Either way, I checked my footage, and this is the last thing that I did do. I made this little cobble gen here. It's not completely done, but it should work for the most part. It just needs some water and some lava and some power. But yeah, that's probably enough yapping for now. So I'm gonna get back to work on this. I'm gonna finish off this cobble gen and start getting some of these mixers and stuff in here. So yeah, like I said, enough talking. I'm gonna get to work. I don't know how I'm gonna record this, but I'll get something constructed and I'll be back whenever I do that. Hello, it's been a while. I've done a lot of work. I'll try to show it off and turn my volume down though, because it's quite loud in here now. And unfortunately, a lot of this is probably going to go. So we have the cobble gen here that was always here. Now with some extra redstone just so it doesn't run when it doesn't need to. Which it is currently running because, yeah. We have this down here which makes all of our sand. It gets crushed down twice. Still need to add a thing to void the flint. That's fine. Then over here with some more of these factory gauges and stuff, we are producing, we should be producing, I think everything might be getting clogged here, so that might be a little problem. But we are producing soul sand in this section here, and we are producing quartz gold, which we will void And we will eventually be making clay here as well. Not currently, because we don't have the stuff set up to make the rest of the things. And then we have an auto crafting setup here, because like I said, I think that I was going to go with this route, which is quartz and all that. Now, the problem with that, I've realized, is it's quite slow. Like it is producing us stuff, as you can see. We're getting a bit of things here and there. But it is really slow, mostly because of this. So the problem that I'm facing right now is that do I bother ripping all this down and, well, making it better by just basically going back to this way for crafting andesite? It's not difficult, in all fairness. So, and I'm getting distracted. I'm gonna change up the andesite to make this. That does mean doing some changes around here as well. And I will probably also make tough and deep slate because that's easy to do. So yeah, let me get back to work then and to finish this thing off for once. It's been a long while since the last clip, but I've done some work. We'll go through it, and it has been a pain, but I think it all works now. It should be better and faster. So I've taken out the andesite bit from here. We might move this over just to make this look a little nicer, but I'm not sure. Apart from that, I haven't done many changes. I've changed this up here. So 3 of these turn into flint, 1 of these turns into gravel, 1 of these into sand. That's probably enough. I can always get rid of 1 of these and replace it with the sand one. But we don't really use sand right now, apart from diorite and granite. So there's no point of that, really. And over here, I have made a new setup for making things. We have at the back here an andesite setup. We go into free cam. You can see at the back here we have just a funnel that takes flint out of here. As you can see, takes the flint out of here, then brings it to this funnel here. And we have gravel coming out from the front, because for andesite you need gravel and flint and lava, of course, which we are getting from below, which is being brought over from here. I just made a new thing here because I don't want to have a problem with not having enough lava coming over if I took it from here. So we have it separately coming from the other side. We have a deep slate farm is here as well. Deep slate is just cobblestone and lava, simple enough. And then we have tough, which is 9 cobblestone and water, which we have water coming from down there as well. Now, a good thing I realized this before, because I thought it was 1 cobblestone per tough. So if we come over to here to our like little crafting recipe thing that we have going on here, I had to set this up differently. So we send 63 cobblestone at a time to give us 7 tough. Just because then we'd have leftover stone in there and stuff, and then that'd be really bad, and we'd be having issues with these promises and stuff. But this is how it looks like right now. We just have these 4 here. These don't actually control anything. This is just so that the crafting recipe things have access to these items, which are all from this vault really, and back there. The crafting of these, of quartz at least, comes from this side here, which we will probably be also removing these redstone links, because I do think I will be adding a 3rd thing here, because for some of these we do need to I can find it, we do need to like smelt stuff, right? So we will probably be putting that here just for the sake of like space and stuff, and because we already have the stuff here, might as well finish it all here. But yeah, we just have andesite being crafted. It's still quite slow because it can only do one at a time. But to be honest, it's fine with me. It's still way faster than doing this quartz diorite method. So yeah, we have a bunch of these blocks here now, and we are getting 15 stacks of all of the ones that we don't really need. That's still a lot. We don't need this much, and well, we might as well have it. I do not know why we have 52 stacks of diorite though. Yeah, I don't really know why we have this much. I assume that was just because of the promises, which we probably actually have to increase this, because since this is slow, stuff will probably be in here for more than 5 minutes, in all fairness. So I'm gonna just go through here then and fix stuff up if it needs fixing, and make stuff look a little nicer. So yeah, I'm just gonna come back whenever something interesting happens, like this is finished or I fixed something, or I don't know. Okay. Before I show off what I've done on the inside, I'll show the outside. I finished off this section here, so now we have another little cliff rock thing there. And I have covered this side up here as well. And there's no random holes. Now it just caused this weird glass thing here and stuff, but I think it would still possibly make sense being like this. I don't know. I think it looks fine, so I'm gonna keep it that way. Now we have the inside here, which I've just done some work here. Done a little bit of decorating here. Added some supports to stuff. I just covered a lot of this place up with some random things. I've moved over the whole granite thing over by a few blocks as well, so that's not taking up the whole thing either. And then we have a stair going up here to this section here as well. This is all emptied because we might need it for the rest of these block types. And if we won't, I will put stuff here because this is going to be connecting up to this section eventually. Which this whole area here will be at some point fixed up. Probably somewhat soon. I don't think the next episode. I think I have a different plan for that. It's just some supports and just some junk placed around in a few places. A few things just tidied up a small bit so it all works a little better. And this will also send items to this packager here so that we can get stuff out of here as well. Now I have set this up with this farm over here, so we will have to set it up on this side as well, or on that farm. If we go back here to the main board, we actually, what we have on this board here is we have these factory gauges. I'm not sure which ones. It's pretty much just a recipe. So we take these ones, which are from the actual ore farm, and then we use a recipe to basically just transfer them into the main storage, so that we have a good chunk of the stuff actually in storage already, because that is quite useful to have. And for exporting to other farms and stuff, I think that's better than having it have to go from the farm to another farm. It will just come straight from the warehouse. And so we basically have to set up the same thing, but for stones, so that we can have a lot of bulk storage in the farm, and that we will have leftover stuff in our actual storage. Also because it makes it easier for me to get stuff out of here, because otherwise it would take, depending on where the farm is and stuff, probably like a good few seconds. Yeah, I care about time that much that this is what we do. It's just easier to set this up like this instead of having multiple different networks. We just have stuff being imported to the main network. I think that just makes no sense with this kind of stuff. So I will set that up really quickly as well. That is pretty much the last thing we have to do. I have finished setting this up. We just have these 5 gauges here. Of course, we can add more when we start producing more stone. Wait, it's just the same. It will send over 64 granite to get 64 granite in my storage. I did notice these aren't set up. Well, I'm not quite sure why that is, if I'm being honest. But um, I'll just set them up later. Yeah, that's probably what I said when I was setting this up, and I just forgot. We look into here. As you can see, we have all of our different stones. Of course, we don't produce all of them, but we have a good chunk of the main ones anyway, and we don't really need a lot more than that. But yeah, I think that will be it for this video. I don't exactly know what else to do. I don't want to get into more projects because, well, I think this video is probably long enough already. So we'll go ahead and do that in the next episode. So yeah, it's been a long time since the last video. The last ReCreate video and the last video in general. So yeah, I'm hoping to start recording a little bit more frequently. But we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.